5 minutes past 2 o'clock. You are on Diamond FM, Mutara's own and only radio station, 103.80 on the FM dial. We are also available on the internet at www.diamondfm.co.zw. It is a Sunday. Between now and 3 o'clock, we are talking snakes. And can you believe it? I've got a live snake in the studio. Yeah, crazy things happen at Diamond FM. I've got from ZENWE Trust, which is the Zimbabwe Environment and Welfare Trust. I've got a conservationist and avowed lover of nature. You know him if you know anything about Mutare, Mike Hitchman. Mike, welcome to Diamond FM.
Thank you, Toby.
All right, and I also got a young lady who's actually holding a snake like right now. Her name is Evelyn Garakara. She's an ecologist and like I'm telling you, she's holding a snake right now. How are you doing here?
I'm good, thank you.
Great stuff. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things about snakes. And Mike, ZENWE, what is your role here in Manicaland as far as the conflict between snakes and humans is concerned?
Well, the idea is that because we have greater incidence of venomous snakes in the cities, in the built-up areas, and greater incidence of conflict between people and snakes, there really isn't another organization that specifically deals with those conflicts and trying to somehow alleviate them, both for the benefit of the snakes and, more importantly, for the benefit of the people.
And what are the causes? What is attracting snakes into human settlements, into human neighborhoods?
It's important for people to understand snakes and their mentality, if you want to call it that. They are not mammals. The thing that I've always admired about them is they're the ultimate killing machine. They're machines. They don't have emotions as such, and what drives them are the requirements for their lives, which is food, warmth, because they're cold-blooded, and a mate. Those are the three things that govern their lives. So it's very easy to find out what attracts them to towns, because basically the food source has increased dramatically. And the food source is usually rodents, whether it's rats or mice. And what's happened is all of us who live in town have witnessed the deterioration of the health of the services. Service delivery by any council in this whole country has just been going downhill for years and years and years. And this has got a negative effect in that now refuse is not being disposed of correctly anywhere in any of our cities, and therefore the numbers of rodents has increased dramatically. And the rodents attract these snakes. So now it's not unusual for us to find that for 4 blocks in any part of the city, because snakes do not discriminate between Murambi and Sakupa. Snakes go where the food is. And we find that a 4-block radius, even in the low-density suburbs, there'll be one Egyptian cobra measuring around 2 meters. In other words, one of the biggest sizes that we have, and we keep on finding them. It's very regular at the moment.
It's amazing. And when we talk about service delivery, we never really, before today, I would never have associated the deterioration in service delivery with a snake bite, or maybe even death or harm to a person due to a snake bite. Because when I thought about service delivery with the piles of garbage, I'll think cholera, I'll think dysentery. That's the worst case scenario. So when we hear that there's no cholera in Mutare, there's no dysentery in Mutare, I say, okay, at least it's bad to the eye, but in terms of the human, it is still okay. But you're saying here, rodents. Maybe kunakatira kumba zvokudzipanapana Mike anzi kuwanda kwaita muchina marara muguta redu reMutare nekusatakurwa kuita nemakanzu zviri kukonzera kuti makonzo awande. Makonzo akawanda, nyoka dzakubva mumakomo, mapani madzaigarawo dzakupinda mumaraini, and ndopa kuzobva kuti vanhu vari kurumwa, which is a horrible, horrible thing. And to our city fathers, we hope they're listening, and we hope that when we speak about the urgency of these things, sometimes maybe it's looked at maybe as politicking, or maybe just being a pain in somebody's, a pain. But we're talking about something very real here, that snakes are also now encroaching into the city because of the increase in rodents, which is attracting them. It is their food source. Mike here explained kuti nyoka dzinoda chikafu, makonzo ataurwa tati ari kubva muchi marara ari kuungana mumadhorobha medu aya, hanzi dzoda warmth, saka kumumba kana naturally kumumba muri warmer than mubako kana paingagara. And chechitatu hanzi inoda a mate kana iri a female snake inoda a male snake, or a male snake would be far second to find a female snake. So those are the things that attract snakes to our cities. What is the impact on communities now?
I think what happens is, because generally people are so scared of snakes, what happens now is that people react in ways that put them in harm. Humans have to understand something. Snakes, when they see a human being, what they see is this huge, giant creature, okay, which is capable of killing them. So snakes are scared of human beings.
And we're also scared of them.
And then we are scared of snakes, but we actually don't have a reason. Look, if people call us, usually we ask them to SMS us because they are panicking. You won't even understand what they're saying. So they SMS us, and then we phone them back. And then we're like, did you manage to see the snake, the color, the length? And they're like, no, I can't see it because it rushed under the bed, it rushed in the wardrobe, it rushed in the bush. It's something which a scared does. It runs. Whenever you see a snake, it will move away so quickly because it is scared. What happens now is that I see a snake, right? I start calling out everybody, the whole hood, and I call them out and be like, come, come. And then we start throwing stones and stuff at the snakes. That's where the problem starts from. That's where the conflict now becomes so big. Because then when you start throwing stones at the snake, anything that's about to die will try to fight death. So that's where now you have the snake trying to fight. Like Mike gave an example of the black mamba. The black mamba is a really strong snake. It moves fast, right? So because we are now having these snakes in our area, it's not a snake that you want to play around with, because things may not really end well for you. It's different from back then. When I grew up, most of the snakes that I used to see were the brown snakes. I didn't know them then, but I know someone would just come and would be like, this is a cobra, this is a what, right? But those snakes were not actually cobras, mambas. Right. Nowadays, we are seeing these snakes which are so powerful. So you have to weigh your options. Is it worth it going for the snake? Is it worth it trying to kill the snake? Or it's better for you to just watch it? Because definitely, I can actually promise you, when you see a snake and it notices you, as long as there is somewhere for it to hide, as long as there is somewhere for it to just escape to, it will go there. So the best thing for you to do is to just look at it, let it be, and then you phone the people who can come and get the snake for you.
I grew up also on the cases of where you hear that the snake followed somebody from the forest right into their bedroom. Do snakes chase people?
No is the quick answer to that one. However, having spoken briefly about myths and superstitions, I cannot discount the fact that there is a spirit world, and we are not here to discuss the spirit world, but there are issues that can arise from that other dimension, which may or may not result in these type of superstitions coming to be in the first place. But for today's discussion, which is simply about snakes and not spirits, snakes don't normally chase after you, but there is one type of snake, Roambira, the black mamba, that if you irritate it, or if you come in a position which it deems to be a position where you're hindering its progress or its retreat, it will attack. It's very likely that it will attack you.
All right.
But it won't chase you all the way home.
All right. And we're here to focus primarily on venomous snakes in residential areas. And Mike, ideally, like you are a conservationist, you're also a human naturally. What should be the relationship ideally between man and snake?
It should be a balanced one, because if you look at nature in general, it functions best when it's balanced. Anytime you have imbalances, whether you have too much human population in one area, too much poverty in one area, you end up with other problems, not only related to snakes, you end up with behavioral problems among the humans. As we know, there's a lot of negativity when you have imbalances. So we need a balance. Definitely the onus is on the councils to clean up their act. This has been going on for far too long. There's many reasons why this whole business of refuse removal has to be sorted out. And I would expect that before we get to the month of June this year, it has to be done. If it's not done, I think we have to look for a new council, because actually time has passed for joking and messing around with this.
Because life is involved.
Yes, life is involved and we are at risk. Because as Eve explained, there's the diseases we get from the rats. As you explained, there's the diseases we can get from the refuse. Then there's the snakes and a whole host of other problems. It's a ridiculous situation. I look on the City of Mutare Post, and they're trying to post what they call good news of patching one road going from A to B. That actually is BS as far as I'm concerned. Let's deal with the key issues. The key issues are service delivery. Service delivery means we need refuse to be removed and put in the proper place and dealt with properly, and we need clean drinking water available throughout the city. Both of those are achievable in our city. And I cannot see why that's not been done, and I hope that the new government is going to prioritize this.
Mike, what can we now do? Because the problem is here, and we know that waiting for council alone to act is going to be like waiting until eternity. What can we do now to begin to reduce the population of venomous snakes in our neighborhoods? What can I, or maybe what can a particular neighborhood in Morningside, what can a particular neighborhood in Chikanga, in Dreamhouse, in Dagamvura, what can the community do to maybe make the situation better in their particular neighborhoods?
Okay, one of the key things is to keep your property as clean as possible. Try not to have dumps of scrap metal, firewood, and other things which stay in an area for a long time, which can provide refuge for snakes. If you keep poultry or imbira or any type of livestock like that, be careful, because the excess food from what they eat is getting eaten by rats and mice. You will have rats and mice, so either put out poison for the rats and mice to get their numbers down, which is not ideal, but it's better than having a venomous snake in your garden, obviously, because of the risks that could arise. But basically, if you keep the place clean, don't leave food scraps, like even food in pots, left outside in the sink to be washed the next day. Or food scraps which are just thrown, like onto a compost heap without being covered. Those are all the things that create an attraction for rats and mice. As far as refuse, basically the city council has for some time now expected us all to dispose of our own refuse. If it's possible, those who have vehicles should take them to the pit, because they don't charge you. You can throw it in the pit along Park Road. That's where I go from time to time, because the council doesn't come to us. Burning refuse is not ideal, but if you have no choice, it's better than leaving it lying around. Those are the recommendations that we would make.
Also got a message here. Thank you for the educative program on snakes, but how do we do away with the phobia? How do we stop being afraid of snakes so that we'll be able to deal with it? That is Brian.
Well, like I've said, the thing is that you have to do a bit of research on the snakes so that you don't rely on films and what your uncle, your grandfather said, because people tend to exaggerate. If somebody kills a snake, for some reason, it's like something in fashion that people have to see me as this Monya person because I killed a snake. So they're going to exaggerate how it was behaving and everything. So it's important, if you can watch YouTube videos of people who are just showing snakes as they are, it would help. And the other thing that would help is that there is such a thing called a dry bite. You can actually be bitten by a snake and it actually doesn't release venom in you. The use of venom to snakes, it's not to bite human beings. It's not meant for human beings at all. The venom is meant for the snakes for their feeding, okay? So what they do is they see the rat and then they strike at the rat, they inject venom, so the digestion starts from there. The only time that they would use their venom in defense is when it's really critical, like they really, really have to. Otherwise, when they don't really have to, they're not going to. Because it's not so easy for them to make venom. They don't make venom in just seconds. They need time and they need to have eaten. There's a whole lot of things that are involved in venom. So the snakes are not going to just be pumping venom in people just for no apparent reason. So like we've said, if you see a snake, you're going to see that what it is going to do is to move away or try to move away. So as long as you don't throw stones, sticks at it, you're warm and dry. You're sound and you're safe and sound. So basically, that's how you can deal with the phobia.
All right, I got another message here. Tawodzera in Zimta is saying, DJ, yes, we find poisonous snakes everywhere in Mutare, but for a black mamba, it's rare, except in mountains. And then they're asking questions, are you talking about a black-mouthed mamba or a black mamba? In Shona, Vatiroa, Mbira, Iregana, Mungu, because they are two different snakes. I don't know.
No, it's the same snake. The black mamba is not black. It's gray in color. It got its name because the inside of its mouth is black. It's the same snake. We do have a lot of black mambas in Mutare. They're prevalent in the Fairbridge Park area, which is next to Murawa's Hill. That's where we tend to see quite a lot of them. But I have caught one in Greenside, so you can find them pretty much anywhere.
All right, maybe if I can ask you this. Snakes, suppose they're hatched, snakes are hatched in February. Do they move as far, maybe one that was hatched in February, do they migrate as far as Greenside across town? Can they do that?
They have to, because what is little known about snakes is that other snakes eat other snakes. There's many snakes that eat other snakes. Cobras are particularly known for that, and they even eat their own kind if they find a smaller one. Snakes have got a huge number of predators. So when a puff adder female gives birth to young, by the way, she gives birth to live young. She doesn't lay eggs. The eggs hatch internally. But she might produce something from 30 to 35 young in one go. So everybody will be, oh my God, there's 35 young puff adders. Well, of those 35, the chances of them surviving are very, very slim. Maybe only 3 or 4 will survive. So they have to actually move. 1, because they might get eaten by another snake. 2, they have to go and find their own areas, because some snakes don't like sharing. For example, Egyptian cobras, those ones I mentioned where they might occupy a block, a block in the city. There won't be 2 cobras in that area if it's an Egyptian cobra, because they'll only mix when they want to mate. Apart from that, they don't want to see each other. They're very territorial.
All right, I got a message from Jawed. He's saying, I saw a skin left by a snake. What could have happened?
Well, Eve, you can answer that. Yeah.
Snakes, like a lot of reptiles, they shed their skin. That's what they do when they start growing, expanding in length. They shed their skin and then another skin come up.
All right, so that's basically it.
Yeah.
Also got a message, Hansi, by Houdini in Chikanga too. Hansi, yes, it is true what they're saying. We killed 1 black mamba and 2 cobras in our neighborhood recently. So basically he's confirming that snakes are prevalent. He said he actually saying we killed them in a row, like maybe consecutive days. That's what they mean. But do you killing them?
Well, Eve has already explained that when you kill a snake, especially these heavy-duty snakes, you're ultimately running a risk. Do you want to run the risk of basically possibly dying because there's no anti-venom? I suggest the better solution is just to call people out and have the snake removed, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to explain to people. There's a need for snakes. Don't run the risk and just get them moved out of your area. One of the things I wanted to add on to a question you asked, Eve, is how can we help people to be calmer? Is ZENWE intends, we've already started with an awareness program which you are kindly helping us with today, but we displayed snakes at Meikles Park in December, and we intend to do a mobile display going throughout Mutare and even throughout the province, showing people different snakes, because snake identification is not that easy. Even for us who deal with snakes regularly, it's not that easy always to identify this green snake as a boomslang and this green snake as a harmless snake. So what helps, we believe, is to show people, first of all, snakes in a relaxed frame of mind, like this snake that Evelyn is holding here, and explain to them, this snake is black, but it's not dangerous. It's a wolf snake, it's harmless. And show them another snake, this is a puff adder, and this is dangerous, but because of its habits, you'll only run a risk if you do A, B, C, D, E, that sort of thing. So hopefully that sort of awareness will help people to feel more confident and comfortable so that they can remain calm, identify the snake, and call us.
All right, there's so much to learn about snakes, and we're hoping that as the ZENWE Trust, they go around publicizing their work, publicizing also about snakes, and also the increase in numbers of snakes in the city of Mutare and indeed across Manicaland. We as Diamond FM will be able to carry those conversations for you and also bring you more information on snakes. But unfortunately, that is all the time that we had for today. And it's been, I've learned a lot of things, Mike, and thank you for coming to Diamond FM.
Thank you for having us. It was
Right.
great, thank you.
Evelyn, maybe one last question, Evelyn. You got a boyfriend?
Yeah.
And if they mess up with you, you're not going to tell this to them. Because I'll be scared. I mustn't lie to Evelyn. I mustn't stand her up on a date. I must make sure that I'm kind of like schoolboy proper, because snakes will be coming.
Well, I hope it's going to work for me like that.
You never thought of it?
Well, I've had a lot of people be like, I never marry a girl who plays with snakes. But yeah, I've never thought of using that to my advantage.
Yeah, you can. And I'll tell you, man, your man will be scared like out of his. But it's been an absolute pleasure. I was speaking there with Evelyn and Mike, who are coming from the Zimbabwe Environment and Welfare Trust, and they're talking about the conflict between humans and snakes, and also the increase in the numbers of venomous snakes in the neighborhoods here in Mutare, Kunana Murambi, Fabridge Park, Darlington, Chikanga, Danga Mvura, kwese kuna nawe mauto kwanzi nyoka dzawo kuwanda, and vataura kuti aiwa zvimwe zvezvikonzero zvacho kuti makonzo chinova chikafu chenyoka ari kuwanda, chiri kukonzera kuti makonzo awande itsvina iri munharaunda dzedu, marara haasi kutakurwa pane kanzo, asi nesuwo ngatisabva tarasamba pese pese marara. Maike ataura akati, look, inini ndinotoshandisa traki yangu vanditi marara kana awanda ndoisa masaki ndoenda korasa kune dump yecouncil iri kuna Park Road. Saka isusu we can also just form clubs neighborhood medu anditi totakura marara aya kuti aiwa baba ninge vane truck ava toloda marara edu mutraki imomo tonorasa, because if we have to wait for council, I've been waiting for a long time, and sometimes things just don't happen because it's cancelled. 4 minutes past 3 o'clock, you are on Diamond FM, Mutare's own and only radio station. That is all we have for you on the reach out for this particular week. Like we do every Sunday between 3 o'clock and half.